Welcome to the Oz Champs podcast by the local game for the very last time in 2025. I'm your host, Johnny Gecko, Antonis Simon, Simon Jimenez. All thanks to Macron Sports Hub Adelaide, the best in town. Get your gear for next year. And boys, and even for Christmas, some good Christmas gifts you can get there from the guys at Macron. But last episode, last game of the year, all happening this weekend. Big one. It's two former NSL teams taking on each other, foundation clubs, and great clubs to watch throughout the tournament as well. Marconi, South Melbourne, not South Adelaide.
Yeah, long way away from there, guys. All the best to you, but a couple of years away at least. It's almost meant to be, though, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
Two big NSL clubs, two clubs that have produced a lot of history, both in their shirts, but also people have gone to bigger and better things. And also the two clubs that played in every NSL season. It's almost fitting that they get to play out in this final day of this inaugural tournament. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and two big clubs as well, massive clubs.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it all there. If you're talking iconic clubs and just for pure nostalgia vibes as well, I think South Melbourne, Marconi, you can't go past them. I would have loved to see a non-New South Wales or Victorian team involved with it, but, you know, we have the foundation clubs that they took the competition very, very seriously, and they're two clubs that I think were really equipped to take this competition on. I think, you know, when we go into talking about maybe next season, I think maybe that's going to be one of the takeaways that, you know, we're going to see the clubs that really approach this with some seriousness, I guess being rewarded for how they went in the competition.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about predictions soon, but I think it's going to be the team that everyone's not expecting to win this one, the one that's been under the radar up until this point. We'll take it out, I think. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but let's talk about the weekend that was. The two home teams. There's a bit of talk about the neutral venues that didn't actually happen in the end. We don't know what the decisions were in the background, but both Marconi and South Melbourne hosting those two games, the two last foundation clubs as well. But the games on the weekend. Any comments on those games? I think it was a big atmosphere at the second game as well.
Mm-hmm. Just a point on that as well. Even though they weren't neutral games, they were operated neutrally. So they were operated by Football Australia. So it was a weird mix because I guess if you ask Football Australia, it's like, what do you mean? It was neutral.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's something to think about for next year and something to consider. And again, my take is, and I know money's tight in a competition like this, but once you make the final four, can we make it home and away? Because we'll talk about, you said the second game atmosphere is great. Let's talk a little bit about the first game because if you have that second leg, okay, Marconi edged that game 1-0, they get a goal, they manage to go to the grand final. But what if Mawson City take a 1-0 deficit back to Queensland? Now we're talking, you know, get the community up and about. You can create some pretty cool storylines like that. And I know it's hard financially, but we play so many games, surely we can fit a couple of more in to create the stories. Because again, for me, if you made it that far, you deserve to host your own game.
Yep.
Especially someone like Mawson City, who, again, would have been in the wildest dreams to be somewhere in there a few months ago. Especially we're playing against Gold Coast Knights, who were also one of the teams up there in the league. So to make it, and then to make it the final four, how good would it have been for them to host the game? So unlucky for them to fall short against Marconi. But again, like you said, Marconi's kind of been going under the radar the whole time. No one's really been talking about them, be it for the whole comp or even for the big teams in New South Wales who are expecting to get things done. But here they are. And like you said, they've got a good shot at it.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think the one thing that stood out from what you just said was storylines. And I think this is a big part of it. You want to tell these stories, whether it's, you know, trying to relive glory days and the drama of some of these old clubs with a lot of history, or if you're trying to write new stories. I think that's so important to give clubs that platform to do that. In terms of the games, I mean, they're both low-scoring affairs, 1-0, late goals. I think there has been a couple games throughout this competition where, to be perfectly honest, I haven't really enjoyed the football. It's been a little bit of a, there's been some really entertaining games. There's certain clubs that stand out with their attractive football. But I think overall the semis weren't filled with a huge amount of drama. To be honest, South Melbourne and Heidelberg probably the better one, given the aspect that, you know, we had a Melbourne derby, two Greek teams, albeit from slightly different, points of view. But as far as it sets us up for an interesting one for the grand final.
And guys, I think people still need to realise how South Melbourne scored the goals, because it's another long throw. Max Mikula. You've got Manny Agwick coming on and scoring within seconds.
That was incredible. I was watching that live.
Again, and
as soon as you see him come on.
As an Arsenal fan, I've got that ingrained in my mind. Nicholas Bentner coming off the bench, scoring straight off the corner. So, great moment for him and for the club. But they've done it. This is how they've gone to the grand final.
My question, though, that's a bit of a cheat code. That was the difference on the weekend. What happens if they get to that situation, though, and they're not at Lakeside, where they don't have a 10-metre run-up across a running track to do it?
Well, I guess so. I was going to say there is kind of space, but it's the other side of the fence.
Yeah, the other side of that one.
Olympic Village. But, it's a tactic. You have to stop it. And all credit to them, but it's literally got them to the grand final. And credit to Javi Lopez as well in goals for South Melbourne, saving a penalty. Massive moment, because, again, you let a team like Heidelberg take that lead. They play some great football, and it'd be very hard to stop them. Just ask Metro Stars. So, everything plays out in a certain way for a reason. South Melbourne now have bragging rights in Victoria. Yes, Heidelberg may have won the championship and Avondale finished first, but South Melbourne won the cup against Heidelberg. South Melbourne, the last team standing, and just like Heidelberg had a chance to play their Australia Cup final at Lakeside and get bragging rights, they didn't manage to do that. Now South Melbourne get to reverse that and play their big final at Olympic Village, Heidelberg's home. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But we're gearing up for a big final, historic final, an exciting final. I'm looking forward to following what happens today.
How do we feel about it being at Heidelberg? The grand final is going to be held at Heidelberg, which is the rivals of South Melbourne. How do we feel about this?
It's a strange one for me, but I guess we got to remember as well, I get the appeal to wanting to do it at a neutral venue, trying to do that, but Melbourne also doesn't have a ground like we do with Coopers here. Something like that would be perfect. Not too big. You can still have some atmosphere. Yeah. It's a purpose-built football ground, and it is truly neutral.
And as soon as you block off a couple of those higher stands, you're looking at a packed 6, 7, 8,000.
Yeah, so it's it'd be cool at a place like that, but I don't really know what a viable alternative would be either.
Yeah, because of course Lakeside's not available.
Yeah.
Amy Park's probably a bit too big.
Way
but
too
they've got monster trucks as well.
Yeah,
I believe. When you look at other venues, you've got the home of the Matildas. But again, for a competition like this, I don't feel like that's the right venue for the final.
Honey being used? Too soon?
Hibernating. But again, home of the Matildas is a new venue. You want to give a nod to the history.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this competition. We talk about history. The other alternative that comes to mind is Preston's ground as well. And I don't think South Melbourne want to go there. So when you start the process of elimination, you can see how they came to Olympic Village. And again, people are saying, how about Sydney? I think not just South Melbourne, but Victoria has earned this first final, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
From performance, from crowds, from vibe. So I think it's right to play it in Victoria. Olympic Village is the venue. I hope it's packed and I hope it's a good event.
Yeah. And the hospitality that we received down there when we went, it was incredible.
And also remember that it has been a high caliber venue this year. It's hosted like 4 A-League teams with Heidelberg playing their Australia Cup games there. So it's not like it hasn't been in the spotlight. So I'm good on them for getting the hosting rights. They get something out of this competition. They didn't make the final, but again, they get to host it.
Let's hope they got enough printed tickets for that bar as well, because I'm sure they're going to run out. It's going to be packed.
Good problem to have.
But overall, I think, in hindsight, now looking at it, it should be a good venue, hopefully, and it should be packed down there as well. You can fit a few thousand comfortably in that stadium.
Oh, that's it. And we want to see a big crowd here.
Will they bring in temporary seats as well? That's the other question.
Yeah, well, we know South Melbourne's going to bring the crowd. They've been averaging like 3,000 to 4,000 people. This is a final. There's no reason why they shouldn't get 6,000 people down there. And Marconi is going to bring down some people as well from Sydney. They've had okay to solid crowds, but this is a big final. This is the first time your club's been back on the national stage consistently. They made the big game. Surely you give back to them. Surely they put some buses up as well. Get the people down.
Yeah, I think it will be, and I'm very much looking forward to it. A big game on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
What are you expecting on the Parklow now? Do you think South Melbourne? I think South Melbourne's a team everyone's going to be backing, but I think it could be a Marconi win on the weekend. Although for our South Aussie boy and Tommy G, I would like to see him lift a trophy.
Would have been interesting if Dom Costanza was still.
That would have been really good.
But again, with these teams, I want to bring up with their recent history. Marconi were lucky enough to win the championship the previous year, but South Melbourne have kind of been the bridesmaids of Victoria when it comes to the championship. This year wasn't their year. They missed out on finals before putting a really good squad together for this competition. But under Esteban Quintas, very comfortable premiers and disappointing on grand final day. Does that sound familiar? Guys, I think we've got a similar case here. It seems to be a case that happens in NPL football. But again, we know the story. Once you make it there, can you win it? This is their moment. New leadership, new team. They'll be hoping to shake that off. But also Marconi, yes, they won the championship the previous year. This year, they were going for it again, knocked out in that semi-final to Apia. They'd be hoping to get that silverware after making that final. But again, whichever way it goes, though, how cool is it that one of these clubs are going to be on top of Australia again? Again, it is the second division, but they're a national competition. Both clubs have been knocking on the door for this. They got it. One of the two teams are going to be lifting that trophy at the end of the day, and we're going to be getting, like the pictures we look at back in the day, these are going to be the new pictures that their kids and grandkids are looking back in the day and saying, this was special. So looking forward to it. Whichever way it goes, I'm going to back.
Yeah, I was just about to say, for those watching, Antonis has made his allegiance very clear.
I got to back the Greeks when they play the Italians, Johnny.
We're going to back the Italians as well. My mum's uncle actually used to volunteer at the club years ago as well. So
what does it mean when I'm about to back South Melbourne for the weekend's game?
Be careful, Simon, because they might bring you up for military service.
I got to say, in my heart, I want South Melbourne to win. Something special about the opening at Lakeside. South Melbourne got the win that night. There just seems to be this vibe and glow around South Melbourne, around Lakeside. Marconi came to play in this competition. They've made it to this final stage, but I don't know. There's something around South Melbourne that I'd really love to see.
I think South Melbourne winning the league is going to be positive for this competition because they're going to embrace it. It's going to make it that extra level because they're going to just be talking about it forever. And that's what you want.
The other thing as well with that is when it comes to those Victorian clubs, how will Preston and Co feel at South Melbourne winning it? What can you do about it? How can you stop it? Get better, guys. And it's one of these things that South Melbourne have been, again, knocking on the proverbial door so much that the door doesn't exist anymore. They're a club that if you told them you're in the A-League next year, they wouldn't say, but financially give us 5 more minutes and say, we're good to go. So they're a club that's been building to this point for a while. I think it's, I don't know if I think it's right, but you'd like to see a club like that go and achieve it. And I know that a lot of people talk about their fans and how say obnoxious they can be. But again, they talk the talk, but the team is walking the walk. And that's what you want to see. And why not them being in the A-League in the future? You know, if we're looking for stable clubs, you look at Western United coming in, glitz and glamour and all of these things. Well, they never got the fans South Melbourne's getting, respectfully.
Or MacArthur.
Different city. So
oh, no,
go there yet.
But I think you're right with that. And I was going to say, did you see the suited and booted video content when I walked down Oakley and they were asking Heidelberg or South Melbourne, and you get those couple who go for Oakley Cannons.
Well, I think that is part of what this glow that I talk about around South Melbourne.
Yeah,
because I don't know, something about watching these New South Wales teams. There doesn't seem to be the vibrant culture around football that Melbourne has. Maybe that's something that's, maybe I'm not in it enough to really say, but as an outsider, and many people watching this competition will be outsiders, there's an active culture around these Melbourne clubs, be it Heidelberg, be it Preston, be it South Melbourne. You can't say the same thing for Apia, Marconi, Sydney United. Do we need to say more about that? It's just not the same thing.
But again, I think this competition, the positive is guys, this is the benchmark now. Do you want to be a club? Do you want to be a serious club here? Because again, we know the A-League, and you can argue about seriousness there.
Yeah.
But this is the next lot. This is where you want to be. This is the standard. Can you meet the standard? You put your name up next to them by qualifying, and in many cases by putting your cash to it. This is where you need to be. What can you do to get yourself to that position? Because they can do it. You can do it as well. What are you going to do to get that done? And when clubs start thinking this way, when they're comparing themselves upwards to something, they're not looking down at, again, I'm going to use a local example. We're Adelaide City and everything's below us. No, you're not looking at the club below you. You're looking at the clubs above you. How can we get to that point? And Adelaide City was just a local example. You can use something like Sydney United. Yeah, where we've got a lot of fans. Yeah, we play some good football. We won the cup this year, but we want more. We want to be better. We want better players. We want more fans. We want to be better financially. Good.
But you
Aim for it, aspire for it, become it.
But you say Adelaide City, though, and I've heard Adelaide City fans and people involved saying, we want to be there next year. And there's clubs already talking about wanting to be there from South Australia.
That's what I'm talking
it's
about.
Great. No, I'm saying it's really working.
They're not looking at Metro Stars.
No.
They're looking at Marconi and Apia, which is like, these are accountables. This is where we want to be.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we're already the best in South Australia. Well, become it. And then your next level is, how can we get to that point? And when you're looking at that, you know it's possible. You get it done then. What can you do? Let's put some plans in place to get it done.
Yeah.
When you talk about looking at the future, Sydney United is a very good example of, you want to be aware of that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
We've focused a lot about in history in this competition. One thing I think what it's shown us though is that exactly what you said, you have to level up. I will guarantee that next year, Sydney United 58 will change their approach and they'll bring something completely different to what they did because I think they've learned. And other clubs, if they're smart, they'll start planning now for the next competition to make sure that they're in a position where their team can perform on the park, where their atmosphere is great, where their club becomes a destination.
I'd keep a close eye on those foundation clubs now because they've got those 12 months to prepare,
Yeah.
where the other clubs that are going to win the league in South Australia and Queensland and all that don't have that extra time. But let's just keep an eye on those local clubs, seeing what they're going to
definitely.
start doing now. They'll start from now.
Keep an eye on them, and especially someone like Sydney United, like you said, they've got the resources. What can they do to get that point?
Yeah.
But also, I'm sorry, I'm afraid to be the negative side of things.
You negative? No.
Never.
Constructive, yeah.
Sydney Olympic. Damon Hamlin has
Yeah.
stepped
You
aside.
haven't spoken about them all season.
Well, Damon Hamlin stepped aside, and that's who's really bankrolling this club. This is who's put the money guaranteed to be a foundation club. Can that continue? Will that continue? What happens if that doesn't continue? What does that mean about the foundation? What does it mean about the structure of this comp? So, just a few points to keep an eye, because 12 months is a very, very long time in football. So, just a point there to look at. But again, as a fan of football, it's been a great first year of this competition. There are things to iron out. There are financial questions to answer. But again, we are looking upwards, and that's a good place to look at. Just ask Alan Stajic.
Let's, before we wrap things up, let's take some takeaways from this first one. What have we loved about this championship, and what are some key points we can walk away from it at the end of Saturday's game?
For me, one thing I've loved is to see the quality of interstate teams as well. We saw Moreton City get really close to the end. We saw Metro Stars making it to the knockout phases, only narrowly beating Bayswater. So, talk about close. But in terms of takeouts, it's going to make our local NPL season very interesting next year. In following the NPLSA competition, I don't want to say that the Australian Championship was an afterthought, because that wouldn't be accurate to say. Metro Stars was certainly aiming and planning to be there, especially given that they'd qualified, with quite a few rounds to spare.
Yeah.
But Croydon, who they played in the grand final and got beaten against, Adelaide City, who played in the semis in the competition this year, proud clubs like that, and there'll be plenty of them in line behind as well. They will be watching this, and they will approach next NPL season saying, we want to qualify for the Australian Championships. And we've had a bit of a chat before about how it's a little bit interesting how the system works, how there's the NPL ladder and you become premiers, but you're not the grand finalists.
Yeah.
it might switch around now that being the premiers becomes the glamour thing because it means you qualify for this Australian Championship. A little bit like with our local Federation Cup competition, where I guess you're really playing for the opportunity to host interstate competition in the Australia Cup. Maybe that's a bit of a thing now when it's your big opportunity, your big, I guess, glamour thing is to have your name up in lights in the Australian Championship. So I think it's only going to add to the competitiveness locally.
Yep.
When
I
teams
wonder,
try to show
I wonder
they
what's
do.
going to change to the championship in not in next couple of years, but in about 5-10 years in mentality. Because those clubs that are finishing premiers, then they know they're going to start the championship like Metro Stars did, not that far after the thing was done. Do they kind of lose sight of that championship locally?
But also
Mentally?
with that, the plan isn't for this to be the competition.
No,
from
it's
now
not,
on. But the thing is,
We'll get stuck like that,
well, it shouldn't, because then the competition has no purpose. To be honest with you, then it becomes just a money wasting exercise. Respectfully, the plan is to become a full home and away season. So the club should be aiming: how can we be in a financial spot that we can do this full time? That we can move on from the NPL, maybe play your reserves, 18s there like Adelaide United does, and then have your seniors in the full home and away season, second division, with aspirations to eventually connect to the A-League. But again, that's looking up. That's what clubs should be aiming for. So time will tell if that's feasible, if it's possible. But again, that's what you have to aim for. This is what this league is aiming for. This is supposed to be something for the first few years before you go on there. Remember, the foundation clubs actually signed up for a full home and away season. They just didn't have enough partners to have it with them. So something to think about as well, the long term.
Yeah.
Think about it. My takeaway is it's just something different, something fresh.
Yeah, I
you know,
loved
when we
it.
talk about the A-League, oh yeah, Adelaide United's playing Central Coast Mariners. I haven't seen that one before. You know what I mean? Like, respectfully, it happens every year, 2 to 3 times a year. Every year, no one's promoted, no one's relegated. You see it again and again and again. The storylines, they get created, but this is different. This is fresh.
If you make it to the finals, you sometimes play a team 5 times in one year.
Well, exactly. But this is fresh.
With
We
home and
haven't
away.
seen this forever. It's been 2 decades. And some fresh, you've got some old faces, you've got some fresh faces. You've got your Marconis and South Melbourne, you've got your Metro Stars, your Avondales,
Yeah.
your Morton Cities. So it's just been a bit of a breath
I've
of fresh
enjoyed
air.
that.
It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
That's what you need. It's giving aspiration to others that this can be you. This is very possible.
Yeah.
Get your you-know-what together, and this could very easily
Yeah.
be you. And new storylines, new clubs, new faces. We've needed it, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing who else adds to that tapestry next year.
Well, my takeaway would be the
Food.
Well, yeah, actually, that wasn't even part of it, but yes, the food's been fantastic. But the embracement of the past and the present and the future in regards to not only the football and the clubs, but everything in general, including media. Andy Pascalides coming back. You had David Bashir involved in the SBS. You had the future. You saw Seb in Adelaide was on there. I was doing the stuff with Claude's and all those other embracement with the Football Australia, getting people like myself and all the other guys interstate, Caleb and Adam Palombi and all that.
Even
Save
some
you.
long form Antonis Pagonis as well,
Yep. Yeah.
which is always fun.
Yeah.
I exist for longer than 20 seconds at that time.
Yeah. But just those names and people involved interstate all being used at the next level. I remember talking to a couple that they got asked to do the SBS broadcast interstate and on the boundary, and I was just saying how nervous they were and excited to be doing that. But 12 months ago, no one had that opportunity. Like, you'd have to work a little bit longer to get that opportunity. But it was great to see this new competition was created, and instantly they made the next generation reward them for what the hard work they're doing at that level. Now that it's almost like these clubs, we're going next level, we're bringing you with us. And it's been great, I think, the way they've done that.
But that's been a very pleasant thing. It's a national second division
Yeah.
for everyone. You know what I mean? For clubs, for players, for coaches, for media. It's
Yeah.
spotlights where little lights have been. You know, everyone's doing their thing, be it clubs for players. Well, guess what? You can do it now at a bigger stage.
Yeah.
And it's been very pleasant. Now, the question is, bigger and better? How?
Yep, I think so. And for me, I was looking forward to just to watch it as a fan. And then, like, 2 weeks in before it even started, and it was like, oh shit, I'm actually gonna be working it. It's like, this is incredible to think. And then you guys working it as well. You got an opportunity to MC, and I think it's the cool things out of it that I'm looking forward to the future of it. And once it does go to that national stage and does evolve into the second tier, hopefully it gets to that point.
That's a big
just
question.
Very positive, I think, looking forward. And also, one thing I've loved as well is the clubs embracing their fans. There's been a lot more of that as well, which I've really enjoyed. Like the South Melbourne experience and all that was very cool to just witness firsthand. Metro Stars did well with their fans as well. They really embraced that Thursday night dinners and a bit more. It felt different. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what other clubs can bring to it as well in the future.
But that's it. It's a positive because clubs are starting to behave like bigger entities.
Yeah.
Because they've been given the stage and the space to be allowed to do. Because normally, some you went out and did with Metro Stars giving tickets away at a local sponsor. You do it in the local league and you're big-headed and you're full of yourself. But no, we're on the national stage.
Yeah.
This is why we're doing it. You're given the space
Yeah.
to do it. So again, you're given the license and you take it.
Well, that was an idea. Yeah, it was an idea I put forward to the club and they loved it. So we went out and did it.
Exactly.
That
But
was-
again, if you say, let's do it for round 7 against Para Hills, it's a very different proposition.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's licensed to behave
Like
like
a
a serious club, like not just a semi-pro club. Like we're doing this national stage, we need everyone there. So I've loved that.
Yeah, and the conversations we had there as well. I've done this for bigger entities as well with my job outside of here, and once you talk about when you go out for like I've been at LA United games, I worked at Crows games and all that, and you talk to the fans. But when I went out and did this with Metro Stars, talking to the people in this shop, once you ask a question. We here give away tickets for Metro Stars. We'd love to go. And as soon as you mention Metro Stars, the person that's just doing the shopping and buying stuff, you don't realize how connected they already are into football once you get that conversation going. I reckon the amount of people we spoke to that day that you wouldn't even look twice at, thinking they probably wouldn't want these tickets, grabbed them straight away, go, my son plays for Metro Stars or my son plays for Para Hills. And he loves that game. He's been talking about it, whatever. Like, it's crazy.
And I hate to keep adding on to stuff, but that's the beauty of this competition. Because again, South Melbourne, you can view it, and Preston and stuff like that, you can view it as a tragic fall. And in many ways it was. They were banished away from the national stage. You're too ethnic, you're too broke, you call it whatever you want. And it could have just been that there.
Yeah.
But more than professional clubs, they were pillars of the community.
Yep.
So when they were knocked down, what holds you up? That pillar.
Yep.
And that's where they rebuilt and they become what they are today from these pillars.
Yep.
They have built to this stage from the community, and as a result, they're stronger because of the roots of the community.
Yeah.
And the big criticism of the A-League is that doesn't exist very often.
No.
And when it does, it gets severed very quickly. So we are at this point because of these communities have made this possible.
Yeah.
These clubs have seen how can we build through our communities, and you see it, especially South Melbourne, Preston are probably two of the leading lights there. So we're there because of these people. How can we take them along for a ride? How can we take them to that next level? How can we reward them for what they've done these past 2 decades
Yeah.
and for the next 2 decades moving on?
And talking about ethnic as well, most of the people we spoke to were related to someone in Metro Stars. And also, I found it easier to give away tickets in the heart of Metro Stars area, in their area code, than it was to give away tickets to Cold Chisel in Elizabeth. That was hard. But at 10 o'clock in the morning, people were more in focus on getting a beer at that time in the morning than they were actually grabbing a free ticket. Anyway, that was a positive note. That was meant to be. But anyway, that was we've spoken for a long time now, almost half an hour.
Good conversation. I
Yeah,
enjoyed this.
it's been great. That wraps it up now. I've enjoyed spending 9 weeks with you boys. It's been cool. Now I think we're looking forward to a break from each other for a bit.
As much as it has been fun, it's been a long season. And,
has been.
Yeah, I love you guys, but
Yeah,
don't
I've had
call me
fun.
for a couple of weeks.
I'll miss you for Christmas.
Lose my number for a little bit.
South Melbourne, we will not be doing a podcast for your OFC stuff. You're psychotic. We're taking a break.
Yeah, we're having a break. We'll enjoy OFC from a little bit further back. If it was Eastern United on the other hand, maybe he would have been involved. Gab would have called us up.
Oh, it's always a good time with him.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, boys, it's been a pleasure. Look forward to this weekend. We're going to wrap things up. Not going to talk after the grand final because we're going to come back next year fresh. We need some breaks. But pleasure, boys, and good luck to South Melbourne and Marconi this weekend.
More South Melbourne.
We're here for a good time, guys. Italy versus
Although
Greece.
I've done some
First two to
research
get
into,
along.
I've done some research into Marconi's facility. It looks like a casino, man.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Oh my
I went
God.
there. Club Marconi is its own like
Wow.
That looks
conglomerate.
cool, but the ground is that's a whole nother.
Ground's good, but just get some more people in there, guys. Come on.
Yes.
It looked great packed.
Yes. Well, good luck, South Melbourne and Marconi this weekend. Stallions versus Hellas is going to be an incredible game of football, I hope, and down at the home of Heidelberg. So get down there, enjoy yourselves, have fun. That's the Oz Champs. Thanks to Macron Sports Hub Adelaide. Boys, all the best, and all the best to those teams.
Looking forward to it.
And do SA proud, Tommy G. Yes.
And look, he's supporting South Melbourne too.
Yeah.
God. Italians really jumped ship.
Yeah.
He's South Italian. He's basically Greek.
Oh, we ended there. See you all later. That's Johnny Keko, Antonis Pagonis, and Simon Jimenez.
Hoppa!
Ciao. There.